Hey everybody, big welcome back to what was quite possibly my scariest day as a drone pilot. I have a feeling that this was a couple of years ago, so I don't remember exactly when this took place. It was, most of you know, I had a prototype DJI Mavic back then, and yeah, so I just want to clarify that because laws have changed and stuff like that. So make sure you knew that this is old footage. But anyhow, we had 50-kilometer-an-hour winds or so, and I had been out there filming a buddy out on his kiteboard and stuff, which I got some awesome footage of that. But this was actually the second battery, and I was gonna go get in position to go and fly around him. I think you can see him there a little bit in the distance. However, I went up a little bit too high and I caught the higher wind, which I'm gonna guess was probably 70 kilometers an hour. I was in sport mode, and this drone can do 67 kilometers an hour in sport mode. And this is holding full thrust forward, and it was just like, oh shit. So it was in line of sight, so I could actually see that I was in trouble, and it was approaching the bridge. And I was like, oh no. So I lifted up high enough, which just made it go faster. Keeping in mind, I'm holding full force in sport mode forward and it's going backwards. And here I am, I'm still rotating though to try to, and I'm making sure I clear the lines, and it's just zipping away, like it just can't fight that wind. And so here's where you've got to, in a situation like this, you just can't lose your cool. Obviously, part of me thought, oh shit, my drone's going to go into the lake. Um, which if that happened, it happened. It would, you know what I mean? I would have got another one, but it would have obviously been quite unfortunate. That would be quite a costly loss. So here I'm kind of scared though, because I'm like, shit, if I lose signal, it's going to try to return to home and it'll never fight that wind. My goal was to lower it down to like the level of the water or down by the water, but I couldn't go too low because I was actually over by where I was over there filming from. So I thought if I drop too low, I'm going to lose signal, which will initiate return to home, which it could never fight. So uh, you know, luckily with some experience, I know that the wind is lower by the ground, and that's not really experience. So most people know that. But in a situation like this, get it as low as you can without losing signal, and which enables me to fight the wind. Right now, it's holding firm. It will not come forward, so holding full throttle forward. And there it finally starts moving. Um, yeah, and so I think I have to weeble a bit back and forth to try to make this happen. Yeah, like that wind just picked up so suddenly, and yeah, it made for some tense moments. So what's going to happen here is I'm kind of, veering to the right. You can see the shake in the gimbal. That's just because of how high the winds got. They had the high wind warnings on the actual skyway because sometimes, like, trucks will get blown over up there and stuff. They'll actually close the skyway for it. But so here I am coming in a little lower, but I'm so nervous to lose signal because I'm like, it'll pop up to whatever it was set at, like 120 meters for return to home height. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, all I got to do is crash it into the beach. And I say crash it. Obviously, I don't really want to crash it, but in all honesty, I would have been actually quite fine with hitting a tree right there, like, smacking it into a bush, if that's what it took. Like, if a landing was just not possible. So here I was trying to line it up and I came up with the idea. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can just hover it there and drive over. I've got the location on my map, so I knew exactly where it was, had a look around, make sure nobody's looking at it, and anything like that. There's nobody there, so and then, but what happens is I try to hover it and I'm worried about the trees and I'm like, well, it might blow around a bit. So here I'm just looking around at the trees. It's kind of one of those things, like, I don't think you really get the wind from the video. But it was like steady winds of like, somewhere between 40, 50 kilometer an hour. And the gust must have been over 70. Um, but I'm in this little pocket where it's just, it's a strong wind, but it's not crazy. But anyhow, you will see here that I'm going to start looking for my landing zone. What happens was I try to hover essentially, and I couldn't though. It just wouldn't hold position. It kept, like, when I let go of the throttle or whatever, it would, or the forward stick, it would just start moving back and forth, and it just wasn't going to happen. So ultimately, you're going to see me. I just say forget it. See, I'm back drifted out over the water. You can see how fast that grass is blowing down there. And then I just decided, screw it. You know what? I'm just going to land it, and that's what I did. Um, You're gonna just see me go for it. It looked like a clear enough spot. I can't even believe I maintained signal that far down because I was kind of thinking, do I just press land or hold land? But I held land and it did. As soon as it hit the ground, I lost signal and didn't regain it till I was on foot over there, which you're gonna see. I'm just gonna left a few seconds. Here we go. It took me about 5 minutes to get over there because I had to drive over. Um, and boom, there's my drone in hand. And wow, so that could have ended badly. But, at the time, I actually considered to be flying pretty safe. It wasn't near people. The only people that were near knew about it. There's a couple of guys in the water. Um, and, not near too much that it should have caused a problem with, but just goes to show you, that wind can pick up like nobody's business, and I guess you got to be prepared for it, but don't panic, keep cool, and you can actually save it. Please comment, like, share, and all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys next time.